A beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to Sports Personality Show on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Mado. Very happy to be here this morning to bring you another exciting edition of ATN Sports Personality Show. On today's edition of the show, we shall take a look at a very, very important tennis player. Of course, you know her, no other than Aryna Sabalenka, the Belarusian. Of course, she was named the 2024 Welcome back. T Sports Personality Show on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, on today's edition of the show, we told you we're taking a look at WTA Player of the Year, Aryna Sabalenka. We'll take a look at what she's been able to achieve for herself, so far, and as well, of course, we'll take a look at, how she started her tennis career. Joining me this morning to take a look at the life of Aryna Sabalenka is one man you know so well. Yes, Dr. Elechi Owoke. Of course, he's a lecturer from the University of Port Harcourt. Doctor, good morning to you, and welcome to another exciting edition of ATN Sports Personality Show.
Yeah, good morning, Kingsley, and good morning to our viewers. This morning we are going to look at a great woman who has really done enough for herself and also for the tennis world. We are going to look at Aryna Sabalenka, the Belarusian, who has really achieved a lot, and it will be nice to look at what she has done thus far for tennis and the world of sports.
Yeah, of course, it promises to be an exciting world. Of course, talking about Aryna Sabalenka, Doc, if you ask me, never really had that mindset that she was going to get to this point, you know, as she is, as it is, because Iga Swiatek, she was one lady, of course, who really gave her a very tough time. She maintained the world #1 spot for about 11 months before Aryna Sabalenka, even though she was still eligible to compete at the junior level. Doc, what do you make of it? Was there any synergy from, you know, her parents or her family down to her tennis career?
Now, for me, if she's saying that do not believe the story that her father just saw a tennis court and decided to stop, because if you check,
but that's coming from her now.
It is. But at that age, because from the history that she started playing at tennis at the age of 6. So at the age of 6, she may not know what her father has in mind. And secondly, her father was an ice hockey player, and Belarus has that history of player who has Zarava, who was also a famous female tennis player, Victoria Azarenka, who was also a famous, and there were others before then. So her father must have thought to toe the line of the daughter also joining the tennis great, and today the rest is. So I think also knowing that the father was a sports person, an ice hockey player, the daughter cannot play ice hockey. So definitely she will look for something that will be better for her. So taking her to the court wasn't a coincidence or came by chance. No, I think the father to play tennis. To me, that is how I view it. I want you to understand that, because while going through the history of Belarus, Belarus has produced a lot of great tennis players. I talk about Zarava, Natasha, talk about Victoria Azarenka. If you look at the list, over 20 players that have been great in tennis come from the small nation of Belarus. Even far back when they were with the Soviet Union, when they were known as Soviet Union. So the whole issue shouldn't just be about her finding it difficult to switch from ice hockey to tennis than going into ice hockey. You know, ice hockey takes a lot. Talk about the cold, talk about the weather condition. So you don't know health condition, which may not be really going into ice hockey.
So, Doc, you're saying, you know, the of tennis in Belarus, of course, might have also inspired Aryna Sabalenka.
Yes, that is one thing, and also must have been one of the things that also made her father to take her to starting tennis. And it's not, for me, it's not, because at the age of 6, she wouldn't understand what is in her father's mind. Even at that, even if she is age, she wouldn't still understand his mind, because her father wouldn't have told her that this is what I want you to be. Before, for instance, let's take a rack and we go to the court and see what we can do.
Okay, interesting. The early life of Aryna Sabalenka. But let's take a look at her career. You know, after she made up that decision. Aryna Sabalenka started playing at the age of 6. She made her debut on the ITF circuit in 2012 at 25,000 to play on the ITF circuit in 2013 and 2014. And in 2015, she won 3 single titles and 1 double title on that circuit. And in 2016, she rose nearly 400 places in the rankings, ending year at number 155. She won 2 $50,000 ITF events as well in that particular one. Of course, we saw age of 6, Doc. Very early, you will say. Yes,
they say catch them young, and that's why we are not getting it right in Nigeria. Now, at the age of 6, she started tennis in 2004. Now, she made her ITF circuit debut in 2012 at the age of 14. Now, between the 2013, 2014, and 2015, she already won 3 singles. by 2015, which is at the age of 17. At that age of 17, the likes of Maria Sharapova already has her first Grand Slam. She did not stop. She did not see 10 years of getting to progression from age 14, 15, 16, and at each age was actually achieving some years. She was already ranked 78 in the world. So it is a pre-planned. In as much as we talk about her too, her father must have played not just a normal occurrence.
But I think for me, the main fact is that she started at a very young age, at the age of 6. So before you probably might have gotten to maybe 10, 14 or thereabouts, then a lot of things might have been, inserted in you.
Oh, there are people that started at that age, but they couldn't continue.
Of course. So.
We talk about determination, the 3 Ds. You talk about determination, you talk about discipline. Sure. So she was so determined and she was disciplined. Because sometimes at that age, your mindset may not be set on doing one thing. It may be, should I go here? Should I go there? Like some persons, once they were not decisive on what to do, it becomes difficult.
Sure. Dollars ITF event in Tijani and Toyota, and made her WTA qualifying debut in Rabat. Sabalenka posted 100th season finish in 2017 year at number 78. Season highlights was reaching final at Tianjin. She also made a semi-final run at international level at Tashkent, marked and her Grand Slam main draw debut at Wimbledon, falling in the second and WTA main draw debut in Dubai. She was also member of the Belarus Fed Cup team that advanced to competition final in 2017, going 1-1. Final match, she scored her first top 20 win of her career with defeat of number 13 Steven. She rounded out the season with 5,000 series title in Mumbai. And in 2018, by far her breakthrough season, she collected 46 upon the season with back-to-back quarterfinals in Shenzhen and Hobart. On hardcourt, she produced a third-round mandatory debut at Indian Wells, and of course, still putting up a very impressive performance. She was run up to Kasasova in that one, prior to advancing to the second round in Miami the following week. On clay, she reached her second career WTA Roland Garros as well. Now, during the Asian swing, she won her biggest title of her career in Wuhan and reached the quarterfinals in Beijing. In that run, she beats number 8 Garcia in the round of 16 to seal the 8th top 10 win for the season and of her career. After that run, she posted a career high ranking of number 11 after Beijing run, and this was of course in 2018. So, Doc, as a 2018 shows progress.
The progress, the commitment, the success. Now, when a tennis player is committed and already know the direction he or she is going, the success, the story will always come out successful. And at that 2018, 2000, if you check the age, I think he should be around 19, 20. The result of all the effort she has put for all the years has already started materializing and becoming fruitful. At that, she was already 11, and that if football, that is where you see scouts coming in to pick a player at a younger age, because they already know that this one, by the time we look at this one, the next 5 years, we'll see a result. Now check between 2018 to 2000, how many years? We're already seeing the result. She is world number 1, and she's ranked the best. She's the best WTA player of the year, which it would have been very difficult if she has not been consistent. So you check within the ranks. consistent each year. She's adding one thing, she's adding one thing, and the rest we are looking at is history, because she stopped playing tennis today. The history has been set.
Yeah. Okay, let's see how it goes. But at this point in time, we have a tennis expert this morning, Kelechi Clifford. Good morning to you, and welcome to ATN Sports Personality Show.
Yeah, good morning to you, Kingsley. Thanks for having me on Good Time this morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Very, very happy to have you. We've been talking about the progress and events, and of course, the career of Aryna Sabalenka, the WTA player of the year. Kelechi, what do you make of the career of Aryna Sabalenka? Of course, we understand she started playing tennis at the age of...
Of course, shows you that and so she has a whole lot on her body as well. But from a young age, she's someone who was actually, being even when things don't go her way, she's always going to put fighting spirit and give 100% from the when she's now the world #1 player. Really seen that she's someone who doesn't know how to give up whenever it comes to fight. So whether she's representing her country, Belarus, or whether she's someone who's actually, shown that she wants to win every single game. She's someone who's actually shown that, once in a while, especially this year, the Australian Open and of course the US. So someone who is always ready there. It was not always going to be an easy run. Ever since we saw Ashley leave tennis, we thought that Iga Swiatek was going to dominate for a long time. She was unmatched, but Sabalenka has come to give her that fight and give her a run for that money. And of course, she's overthrown her at the world #1. So Sabalenka is someone who is an inspiration to many tennis of always that when you put in the effort at the end of the day, and she's someone who's actually made a whole lot of money for herself this year. Well, winning 2 Grand Slam US Open. So I would say one of the best tennis, in female tennis.
All right, let's look at, of course, what she's also what she has been able to do for herself as well. In 2019, she won 3 WTA. St. Jean Buhan and Suha. Also in doubles, she won the Sunshine Doubles, Indian Wells and Miami, and the US Open with Alison Martins. And in 2020, Aryna won the WTA 3 WTA titles and reached 200 career doubles, and she won Doha, Strava and Lays. And in 2021, Sabalenka won 2 WTA titles, Abu Dhabi and Madrid. She also got 2 Grand Slam semi-finals at Wimbledon and at the US Open. She also won the Australian Open in doubles with Alison Martins. In 2022, she got another semi-final at the WTA finals. Aryna Sabalenka opened the 3 season in the best way, winning the WTA 500 in Adelaide with losing a single set, and this is the 11th career WTA title for the Belarusian, first in almost 2 years and the first ever in Australian hard courts. The period of optimal the Australian Open and Grand Slam tournament in which the Belarusian had to push herself to the final for the first time without giving up any set. After getting rid of Teresia Mantikova, Shebly Rogers, Alison Martins, the 12th seed Belinda Bencic, a new Donavecki, and the surprise of the tournament Magda Lenense in the last act, Elena Rybakina in first single slam of her career, bringing the victory of a major back to Belarus 10 years after the last time when it was Victoria Azarenka who always prevailed on the court of Park. Joe, for Aryna Sabalenka, doing that 11 years after Azarenka of that particular feat.
Winning the Australian Open in 2023. In feet in 2024. Now, one thing you have to understand is this: that's in 2023. He also that same 2023, he played in the semi-final in the Roland Garros.
Yeah.
He also played in he played semi-finals in 2021 and 2020. That means check between 2018, I think between 20, I've had a record of progressing from one level of the Grand Slam to the other before that 2023. She has been a progressive record, and since 2017 for this, she have had a 81% win rate for the Australian Open. She have had for the French Open, she has had 70% win rate. That means of all her matches, she has won 70% of the matches. For the Wimbledon, she had 69% win rate, while for the US Open, she had 82% win rate. That means 2024 that she had double. But the problem she had grass than the clay. She prefer play has all been so good for her this year. And the tennis lovers all over the world will see that this is a player that even though it has effort and the effort she has put all over the time has for she to have gotten to this place.
And of course, he's talking about 2023. Returned to our best ranking of number 2. You know, Kelechi, so many persons expected Aryna Sabalenka, of course, to have taken up that world #1 spots last year. But, you know, despite all she did, Iga Swiatek still gave her able to finish the year as world #2. What do you make of 2023 for Aryna Sabalenka?
Michelle, winning that Australian Open, it was not an easy win for her. It would have also been a year where she won 2 Grand Slam titles. Unfortunately, she lost to Coco Gauff in the finals of that US Open in 2023. But it's good that she's got it back this year. I think 2023 was a year where we saw that Sabalenka can actually be, you know, a very tough player. She really needed to get Grand Slam. We've seen her was not enough for her. She was not enough to say that, okay, it's time for me to get my hand on the Grand Slam, and it was very important because, you know, it didn't come easy. Playing against, you know, someone like Rybakina, who we thought was also going to be, you know, the next kid on the block, but she's not really shown that in the last couple of months now. But Sabalenka needed to break out and compete. Iga Swiatek needed someone to, you know, compete with her since Ashley Barty, you know, left tennis, and Sabalenka was that woman that decided to be winning that Grand Slam and, of course, maintaining that form, even up until this year, 2024, where we thought that maybe it was going to be a one-season wonder, like the British girl who won the US Open 4 years. So she has not really been that kind of. She's always been consistent, and I feel like 2023 was one of the most important for. Really happy that she's actually continuing in that fashion.
All right, we'll take a look at 2024. We're back, of course, from this break. Of course, we understand a lot happened in 2024. And, of course, you will say 2024 is actually a breakthrough year as well, where she became WTA Player of the Year. We'll take a look at how she achieved that. And we'll come back this break. Trust us, our men here, of course, are very much ready. Kelechi Clifford, of course, we told you, is a tennis expert. Is going to give us his decisive analysis on that. Dr. Lechi as well is here to tell us more about the progress of Aryna Sabalenka in 2024. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
The biggest media entertainment award ceremony in Rivers State in 2024 is upon us. The maiden edition of the Rivers State Media and ACE, an award ceremony aimed at celebrating individuals and organizations that have stood out in the media and on the review. Oh yes, who will be crowned as the best of glitz and glamour as the radio station of the year, television station of the year, newspaper of the year, magazine of the year, on-air personality of the year, presenter of the year, and many more all receive recognition in the year of the biggest, best, and most popular comedians, musical, and cultural troops will be on display in a night not to be forgotten.
A friend of mine saw me. I'm like, hey, Basket, congrats, man. I heard your sister just gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. And I said, no. And he said, ah. So what did she give birth to? I said, a fish.
Sunday, 15th of December, 2020. Port Harcourt. Red carpet is by 5 p.m. and event proper is by 7 p.m. The gate is free. Come celebrate with the biggest names in the media and entertainment industry as the River State and Entertainment Awards takes our city to the next level. The 2024 River State Media and Entertainment Award. Be there.
Yeah, welcome back as the Sports Personality Show on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we're talking about Arena Sabalenka, WTA 2024 WTA Player of the Year. We'll take how she started a tennis career, of course, to achieve for herself. And we're talking about our 2024 prowess. World number one, Arena Sabalenka, has been was voted the WTA Player of the Year after securing 4 titles in 2024. The Belarusian retained the Australian Open in January before winning the US Open in September. Had 10th Grand Slam singles triumph. The 26-year-old also secured victories at the Cincinnati Open in August and the Wuhan Open in October, becoming the first woman to win the event 3 times. And in October, she became world number one, ending Iga Swiatek's 11-month stay at the summit. That was despite missing Wimbledon with injury, while Sabalenka also opted out of the Olympics in August to prioritize health. She finished the season with a 56-14 win-loss record. It's the first time Sabalenka has been named player, triumphing in 2022 and 2023. Kelechi, let me start with you. You think Arina Sabalenka deserve to be given the WTA Player of the Year?
I think it's well deserved. Nobody came close to Arina Sabalenka this year. I feel like she really dominated. We're winning more Grand Slams than any other person. So it's a well-deserved achievement for her. Also finishing as world number one, 2 Grand Slams. I feel like she would have won the Olympics if she had played. Unfortunately, after missing the Wimbledon, like said, and then not being able to play in the Olympics because of health issues, and of course she lost her partner, her ex-partner, through suicide. So a lot of factors played a part during, before and after the Olympics, which actually affected her. But I feel like she would have dominated in all forms. I'm looking at her pushing through next year to compete in the Wimbledon and the French Open and see if she can actually add them Open and the US Open. Besides that, she was by miles the better tennis player the year 2024. I know that a couple of players actually really improved and showed themselves, like Wen Zheng, the Chinese girl, Coco Gauff also winning the WTA finals, showed that actually she was actually had a wonderful season. But if you want to compare the two of them to Sabalenka, I feel like Sabalenka really dominated tennis and won, even though she won lesser titles than Swiatek, who won 5 titles this year. Nonetheless, she was actually the better player. If you want to compare to the rest.
Kelechi, a lot of persons have attributed, our victory, especially to the poor form of Iga Swiatek. Talking about poor form of Iga Swiatek, not just poor form on court. She's been battling. She actually battled, some couple of injuries, and as well her health as well. Just like I mentioned earlier, she has to take a break, of course, to put her health in order. Aryna Sabalenka won't have, of course, maybe win the WTA Player of the Year or becoming world #1. I don't know if you agree to that.
Honestly, I already have a strong affiliation for Sabalenka because she's my favorite. It doesn't really matter if Swiatek was 100%. Sabalenka is flawless. Nobody can beat Sabalenka easily on hard court. She is the one who dominates the hard court. If Swiatek cannot beat Sabalenka on hard court, then you can still say that Sabalenka will still be a better player than Swiatek this year because Swiatek only managed to win, one Grand Slam, which is the French Open. So I would, whether or not Swiatek was in 100%, Sabalenka would have still won what she would have won because she dominates the hard court. And so Swiatek needs to sort herself out. I know that we know what Swiatek can actually be when it comes to tennis. Last year, she was almost like 100. I thought that tennis was in the right hands. And Ashley Barty, left it for Swiatek. This year, she had some struggles, but whether or not the struggles were there, I still feel Sabalenka would still have achieved, this year.
Doc, what do you make of the rivalry between Aryna Sabalenka and Swiatek? It's been a very, very tough, especially in the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, Iga Swiatek and
Aryna Sabalenka.
They have met. We've met 12 times, and has won 8 times. Won 4 times. That's to show how strong, and also that's also to show you how strong Iga Swiatek. But at the end of the day, when they say when you keep passing through a blind man on the blind side, a time will come when the blind man will get to see, even if he's not seeing, because the sound and all the rest. So over the years, I think she has been studying Iga Swiatek. It's not more about injury or whatsoever. I think it has been that you can't keep failing or keep somebody keep winning you over and over, just like the case of Argentina and Nigeria. At the time, you also have to put up, in something for yourself. I think that is what has been happening. And today, I think in 2024, she has really been able to come up with something. Not really. She was not even the one that beat Iga Swiatek in the 2 Grand Slam that she won. It was even other people met in this 2024 would have been straight win for her.
True. All right, Kelechi, of it, let's talk about dominance at this point in time. We understand how Iga Swiatek dominated for some seasons now, and now Aryna Sabalenka has taken over. How long do you think she will be there?
I feel like Sabalenka is yet to. She's not a one-season wonder like Ima Raducanu. Sabalenka is a fighter. Sabalenka is someone who has always wanted to be the #1 player. Now she's finally got it, and I feel like she's definitely going to ensure that she maintains that form. Iga Swiatek is not really helped at this point in time due to her suspension. Some of these controversies actually affect the tennis player whenever they're hit with. We can see players who, after getting suspended, when they come back, they're a shadow of themselves. We don't know how Iga Swiatek is going to cope with the 1 month suspension, even though it doesn't really affect her because, it's as good as useless. But Sabalenka doesn't really have any chink in her. Now, whenever I watch, she looks like someone who can actually beat anybody and kind of. And I honestly want to feel like she can actually continue up until next year. I mean, her favorite Grand Slam so far, the Australian Open in 2020, especially with Iga Swiatek's issues right now, so it's difficult for Iga Swiatek, and Swiatek has to, ensure that she wakes up from her slump.
And of course, apart from Iga Swiatek, do you see any other tennis player that can give Sabalenka time come next season?
I've got two players in mind winning the Olympics and give her a chance. And of course, she got to the finals and she also got to the finals in Australia. But unfortunately, Sabalenka's hand. And so Coco Gauff as well. She's someone who actually, really I feel like needs to be worked on. She's someone who emotional whenever things don't go her way. But I was her winning the WTA finals. An important victory for her, but she has a whole lot of work to do on herself. And two players, if they can continue this season, the next year, then I would say, okay, these players can actually step up to some. But to be fair, I feel like it's only Swiatek that can actually compete on a high level with Sabalenka with the way she's playing so far.
All right, let's talk about her coaching. Aston Dubrow, a former assuming this role, Dubrow served as Sabalenka's partner. He also comes he's been the grandson of a renowned coach Edward. Up until the beginning of 2018, Aryna Sabalenka had collaborated with Carl Himbo for 2 years. Mark Storman and Magnus Tedman, two ex-pro tennis players from Sweden, joined her team. But shortly after that, Dmitry became her main coach ahead of the 2018 grass courts, the 2019 US Open. Aryna Sabalenka and Sunov briefly fell out of favor. They reconciled later the year. She ended their partnership permanently at the end of the season. Sabalenka temporarily worked with Detail Cadman before replacing Cadman with Antov Dubrow, her old hitting 20. Doc, what do you make of it? The influence of these coaches in the, of course, style of play or probably career of Aryna Sabalenka?
Yeah, coaches play a lot of role when it has to do with style of play and then philosophy and also shaping a player. So I think the coach has really played a lot of roles. If you see if you watch her progression, you understand the type of coach will also affect the result that is obtained. And he's a former tennis player and been following tennis all around. So it's something for somebody who has been in tennis and is a tennis player, is always be willing to give the best and to ensure that the player he is coaching gets the best. So I think the coach must have played a significant role, a role that can to have gotten to where she is today. And if you check within the years where she has been up and she never gives up, the coach is always there to tell her, no, don't worry, next year you are going to make it. And if you check the result over the years, 2023, you see that there is a great difference. So you can coach away from she having such success within just a year interval. I think the coach played a significant role to shape her to that level she is now.
Let's talk about her style of play. Sabalenka understands a very aggressive player, preparing the game from the baseline and constantly looking for the point. Despite her height, she does not look bad in the faces of contentment and coverage of the court. An excellent doubles player, she has good volley control and she's line on the throughout her career. She has repeatedly accused problems, problems with her second serve, leading her to a number of double faults, which is the weak point of the Belarusians' game. Kelechi, what do you make of her style of play? Do you think that areas she has to improve on? going forward?
It had aces to someone who is very strong, so very vocal on the court. She ensures that she bullies her player in a way. Really being serving from the baseline, of course. She's a handed player and a double-handed backhand player as well. Just like you mentioned, her second serve is the problem, and most times they're fault. There was a game that I watched where she had, a high level of double fault in that match, and it really cost her the game. So, and she can actually, with the help of her coach, improve on that second serve. Then I would say Sabalenka would really have much problems. But the second serve is a problem that can be draining, especially when it comes to playing for long hours. She stays fit and issues this year on her shoulder. If she stays fit and work on that, I would say then she could be a very, very top player, 100%, having no issues at all.
Talking about her personal life, Sabalenka has a tiger tattoo that has earned her the nickname, the Tiger. She has used to refer to that the Belarusian state in sports, in his sports her tennis idol growing up were Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova during suddenly in 2019. Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova, are idols when it comes to tennis. What do you make of those names?
Nobody hates Serena. For me, apart from Steffi Graf, she's the all-time tennis. And if you check, Maria Sharapova, she started very early. At the age of 17, she already has a Grand Slam. So that tender age, and also seeing 18 something at a tender age, every good tennis player will always want to look up to such person. And for someone like Serena Williams, she has 30. It's not a mean feat.
23 Grand Slams.
Okay. 23 Grand Slams.
Yeah.
And she played up to 30 something. She was still playing. Even when she's supposed to have retired, she was still playing. So you see, a tennis player that upcoming players will always want to look up to. So it is something that has also inspired her to becoming whatever she is today. Because if she were to be looking up to, see that you won't get to somewhere.
About how much money, of course, she has made for herself. Although Aryna Sabalenka is only 26 years old, she already has some outstanding statistics on her side. As of November 2024, Aryna Sabalenka estimated net worth is 13 million US dollars, and of course, you see a very massive one in that. I have to call it a wrap at this point, but I have to get Kelechi on this one before we'll call it a wrap. Kelechi, for Aryna Sabalenka.
Say